I just got to say, we're not, taking the mickey.
The really weird thing about all this,
What?
right? And it's annoying because you were saying about, what should have Trisha have asked and all that.
Yeah.
But one of them mentioned that one of them was adopted, and the other one wasn't.
Don't talk rubbish.
No, seriously. I didn't understand it, right?
Of course you didn't.
And then Trisha sort of said, well, let's have a chat, and they were like, no, I don't want to go into that.
What do you mean one was adopted and
That's
one
what he
was...
said, one of them... don't quiz me on it, but that's what was said.
Hello there, Hello there, I'm a multi-millionaire, and I've just seen your orphanage.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love to
lovely,
adopt one of your children.
You'd like to adopt one?
I'd love to adopt a children, because I've got loads from around the world, so I'd love to adopt one. I'd give you $10,000 towards your
well, we'll speed it through then, yeah.
Brilliant, okay.
We've actually got 2 left.
I only need one. I'm only interested in one. Yeah, I don't need any more.
They're sisters.
I know it would be tragedy to break them up, but I really only need one.
Now break it up. There's the rub. You see.
Sure.
Because
you just need the one. There's $10,000 now. You can have that. I'll sign it now. But I don't want to discuss it further.
I'll bring her around.
Brilliant.
Okay. Ding dong.
Hi. Yeah. Brilliant. You brought my kid round.
Yeah. There she is. There.
That's a joy.
Yeah. Okay. Just standing next to a bush.
Yeah. Do you want to? Can you bring her out towards me? It's like
there's nothing behind the bush. So you just want.
I just want to be able to walk 360 degrees round her.
Do you want her or not?
Yes. I can't believe it. What's that little trolley? She's talented.
Oh dear.
You're talking nonsense, Carl.
Well, whatever.
Feed her. That's it. Just the way I'm feeling. XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. It's time for the newest quiz in town. This is where Karl inserts himself into a seminal film. Last week, it was the little kid in Sixth Sense. You remember? To great acclaim. The critics loved it. They said a triumph. This week, he's fiddled with The Graduate. This is the scene where, of course, he goes upstairs to the hotel room, and it's on the cards. She's a dead cert, Mrs. Robinson.
Well.
Here we go then. So, are you ready for it? I've brought some condoms from home that Suzanne got for Christmas.
Benjamin.
What?
Will you bring me a hanger?
A what?
A hanger.
Tell you what, I've got wood.
What?
Just saying, I've got wood. I've got metal ones as well. What sort do you want?
Either one would be fine.
Alright. There you go.
Are you afraid of me?
No. No, I've seen weirder things than you. Have I ever told you about the 2 lads I went to school with who had big heads? Webbed fingers as well, but not related, and weren't mates, but both had the same thing, which is a bit weird. Yeah, I've never found out what was wrong with them.
Can I ask you a personal question?
As long as it's not about my head being round, because Ricky's always going on about that. He's saying I've got a round head.
Well, you can admit that, can't you?
No, I'd say it's a normal sort of shape. It's just round.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, but what do you mean? So is yours. Heads should be round.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
I'm not ashamed. It's just a normal shape.
Mm-hmm.
And you can talk. Look at your saggy arse. Anyway, get your knickers off.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, that was a joy.
Oh dear. Oh.
It was an absolute treat. Now, I should say that obviously the prize is a copy of The Graduate. Now, bear in mind that XFM is giving away these prizes.
Yeah.
Carl is so cheap that he wouldn't even buy it on DVD. He's bought it for $6.99 on VHS. It'll be panned and scanned. It won't be widescreen. There's none of the extra features that you get on the DVD.
Oh, look at Carl's face. He's gutted.
Carl, did you pocket the rest of the cash?
No. I have to use my own money to buy these, right?
What, you're using your own money to give this stuff away?
Yeah. So I had to go and buy that.
XFM is so cheap, I understand.
Right,
I know.
And, it's not worth having it on DVD, is it? 'Cause
Why not?
It's an old film, so... So the quality is set, do you know what I mean? They can't really tidy it up.
Of course they can. They do it from a print. They don't do it from the video. They don't get the video and go, let's make it into a DVD.
An old Betamax copy that someone had knocking about. Well, anyway,
It's
you
the
can.
same film, though, isn't it?
Fine, okay, well, you're right,
it is
yeah.
the same
But anyway,
film, yeah.
you can win $6.99's worth of The Graduate. The question, and it's email only, Steve, it's not Steve, it's ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. The question is, name the actor that Carl was taking the place of in the film, and of course the actress that he's performing opposite. ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Lovely.
Do you want to play something from the...
I would love to.
It would seem appropriate.
Yeah?
Dear Mr. Simon and Mr. Garfunkel, please, let's not have the sound of silence. Let's have some more beautiful music. Get back together, please, quickly. It's XFM.
I think you should do every single link like that. Brilliant, it's the best bit of the show.
That's on XFM 104.9.
Are we
Well,
going to have
there you
time
go.
to play the clip again before, I don't know, before 2 o'clock, let's say?
Are people not listening to the question? Is that what you're...
Some people are not listening to the question.
Oh dear. Okay, we'll play it again at about 2 then.
And personally, any excuse to hear it again, because I thought it was a treat.
I think Carl should go out and get the DVD.
I think it's embarrassing to give away the
Yeah,
the
you have to
VHS.
get it. You have to go out and buy the DVD later.
Carl, on the DVD, it's got a booklet, it's got an audio commentary, it's got behind-the-scenes features, and it's got this pristine widescreen version of the film. You've got some cheap $6.99 version.
Yeah, and
on
so
VHS.
because you were being mean, because it was your own money, you're gonna have to waste that now because
Yeah.
no one wants it. So it's gonna cost you twice as much as it would have done if you just got the DVD the first time round.
Valuable lesson learned.
Yeah.
Have I rewound it?
There's a penalty if you've not. No, you haven't rewound it.
Go and get the DVD later. They're gonna win a DVD.
No, I looked at the DVD and it was 18 quid. I'm
Go
not
and
paying
get
18
it
quid for
and
it.
claim it back.
No, you've got to wait
What a
ages.
cheap station this is.
It's outrageous.
I mean,
Well, do you want to go on with the other prizes with what we're giving away later?
What is this for Rockbusters?
Well,
we don't give away prizes. We throw away prizes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cleaning
Yeah.
out some drawers in XFM.
Go on.
I'm just having a quick look through before I...
because we've sort of revamped Rockbusters a bit. There's that extra bit in it now, isn't there? That audio bit.
You're selling it. Your big sell.
Oh, we're
There's a
not going
DVD
straight
there.
into that yet, though.
There's a
Oh,
DVD.
yeah.
There's a DVD there. What's
I'll
that?
go through them later, Rick. I just need to absorb it. Don't
So-
get excited, mate.
So, who did Carl play in the clip? What actor's place did he take, and what actress played opposite him? That's Ricky.Gervais.
At xfm.co.uk.
Sure.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Is that it then?
What we
Just,
got coming up? We got some
play a bit of Coldplay.
Let's have
bit
it.
of Coldplay, be right? Coldplay. Yellow on XFM 104.9. Get it on DVD. It's an embarrassment. £7 worth of old video, pan and scanned.
I've bought it now. That's what they're getting. Right.
He's put a downer on it. All the work, you know, that went into that, and then just gonna fob them off with a bit of old celluloid like that.
Well, listen, still to come, right? We've got the monkeys thing.
Oh, chimpanzee that!
And when I was out last Sunday, right, at Johnny's birthday party,
Yeah.
Steve was there.
Yeah.
Got talking about stuff. And a debate that we didn't really finish cropped up.
It blew your mind, didn't it?
Amazing.
Oh, I know about this. Steve told me. This is the infinite amount of monkeys. Or a monkey with a typewriter and an infinite amount of time would eventually come up with the works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
There was no debate. It's a philosophical, mathematical problem. There's no debate. It's true.
It wouldn't happen.
No, listen, Carl, listen. Infinity sorts it all out for you, right? An infinite amount of monkeys at a typewriter, right? They do everything. They type everything. Infinity just sorts it all out for you. There's no getting to it and they're going, oh well, let's have a look what they've done. This one's come close. It did Romeo and Juliet. It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable.
Yeah, but
It's a mathematical thing.
Well,
Infinity
we've
sort-
heard your side of the argument, Rick. And I'll be honest with you, it's a persuasive one. But let's hear Carl, because he
Yeah.
heard about this in a pub last week.
Yeah,
so
what's
he's
your
got some
problem?
strong
What's your
ideas
problem with
himself.
it? What's your problem with it?
well, first of all, right, you're saying it's a load of monkeys. It's not just one monkey. It
Depends.
That can live forever.
No, wait. It's either a chimpanzee with a typewriter with an infinite amount of time. He would eventually, by definition, mathematically, type everything ever possible. Okay, or it's an infinite amount of chimps with typewriters, and one of them will type it first time.
But already that's sort of that's not right. you either need to have
What do
one
you mean?
monkey.
What? You mean
let's hear his
employment
point.
laws?
He
What do you mean
can't-
it's not right?
Let's hear him out, please.
If it's one monkey
Yeah.
with a typewriter that's got loads of ink in it and that, right? At least it knows what it's done in the past.
Don't. It's not.
Keep going.
Cry.
If you've got a load of monkeys, it's like if you have too many. What's that saying about too many chefs?
Too many
spoil-
chimps spoil the soup.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I didn't tell you to put salt in it. I was going to put salt in it, and it messes it up. Whereas if it's just one, they know what's gone on. So what I'm saying is,
honestly,
leave him go.
I can't be bothered,
I want
Steve.
to hear- I want to hear the rest.
This blows my mind. That he doesn't know what this does to me. It's a mathematical
I
problem.
want to hear the rest.
well, it's just I just don't think it will happen.
What
I
do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you, by definition.
Well, what's stopping them typing the same thing again?
They would. In fact, the problem should be, if you had an infinite amount of time, that it would type, that works for Shakespeare an infinite amount of times, and everything else an infinite amount of times. But, you know, that's not as...
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up! You idiot!
So, Red Nose Day, Comic Relief, has come round again.
Yeah, Red Nose Day is obviously the very specific date in the calendar for the whole generic term comic relief, I think.
It's normally when the telecast happens.
Yeah.
People know that that's the day when they can dress up, do charitable acts. But of course, Comic Relief is a charity that's working all the time for disenfranchised all over the world. Have you always been a strong champion of Comic Relief, Carl?
Not really.
Why was I expecting that answer?
But I do loads of stuff without going on about it.
My gift to the world has been you, Carl, to be quite honest. I feel that you're the world's
I'm
now.
sure there's people in Africa going, we'd prefer blankets.
Doing a wills charity, innit?
Is it?
Sort of.
I mean,
No, it is.
if you make a donation to a charity within the will, I suppose that's quite charitable. But
Do you
just
mean-
giving money to your relatives isn't, is it?
Of course it is.
Well,
They
it
shouldn't
is,
have
it's-
it.
They're
They
getting something for nothing, but it's... I don't know. It's giving something away that you have no use for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
mean,
but forget that. It's someone is getting something when
Yeah.
they've done nothing for it, really.
Well, it is. I suppose it is charity, but charity is usually infused with some sort of altruism. It's like it's not charity on your part because you're literally not around anymore. So it's no longer you giving it. It's just some
Yeah, but
money
I could
that
either
there
give
was.
it them or not give it them. Once I'm dead and I've turned to mush, I shouldn't be worrying about Suzanne's mum getting a table.
Is that
but
what
you
you're
know-
leaving her?
Well, I called up my dad first.
Why are you
and said-
doing a will for the show?
Because of this travel thing
Right,
I'm doing, and it can get dangerous, you know.
But why haven't you done a will up to now?
Because you sort of, I don't know, I felt sort of young and free. Whereas now I'm...
That's never two words I've associated with Carl. He's always seemed like a man who's in his late 50s.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
I've certainly
yeah.
never the idea that you're free.
It's more-
Even if we're just talking about the head alone, it's the head of a late 50-year-old.
Free of hair?
Yeah, totally free of fucking hair.
I'm sort of getting on first name terms with my doctor.
Oh, really?
Chatting more. Oh, what is it this time?
How's your middle finger?
You
Not
know.
too bad, Carl.
All that sort of thing. So it's just made me think,
Have you had that done for the will, by the way, for insurance
I think
and
you
stuff?
need to, don't you, for a will?
I think you do.
there's nothing on the
prostate
paper.
exam?
No.
No, listen, for insurance purposes, I think you need to have a testicular exam for testicular cancer. You're just leaving the high risk for testicular cancer, actually, and you're entering the high risk for prostate cancer.
And you can have both at the same time.
You could have both
the
at the same
examination
time,
at the same time.
if he's a very dexterous doctor.
I wouldn't want that.
Why? Too much like...
It's just too
Too
much going
playful.
on. It's like someone juggling you.
yeah, it's like being examined by Squiddly Diddly.
And so you said you called up your dad.
Called him up. I said, "Is there anything you want if I die?"
Right. And presumably, you know, Suzanne, she's getting the lion's share.
She is. But then the fella who was on the end of the phone talking us through it all was going, "Oh, you should get married." I was going, "Oh, shut up." He's saying, "Well, it make things a lot easier when it comes to this." And it's like, well, that isn't a reason to get married, is it?
Well,
So she can have all my stuff. I said, I've wrote on the bit of paper that she can have it. But it's something about tax. If you're not married, you have to hand over more. I think you get so much and then it's like ridiculous tax rate.
yeah.
But she's going, that's why we should get married, I'm going to be paying tax. I'm going, hang on a minute. She's already like thinking about money loss instead of me disappearing.
Yeah.
She's going, yeah, we should. I'm saying, look, you'll be getting a load of money. I said, if I die on this programme anyway, I'm insured. You'll be getting about £1 million for that.
Yeah.
I said, so that's something you haven't got now.
Yeah.
Got nowhere near that now. I said, so even if you have to pay tax on that,
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be right to get married just in case I get killed.
Have your two sets of parents met?
No.
That'd be good, would it?
Well, I suppose it's a reason to, isn't it? At least if you're getting married, there's a reason for them to meet. At the moment, there's no reason for them to meet. They'd get on each other's nerves. My dad wouldn't get on with a man.
Why?
Just wouldn't. She doesn't like me, so she won't like me dad. Because he's just an exaggerated version. So, I think it doesn't need to happen.
But you could just nip down the registry office, get it done and dusted, and you just phone up your folks and say, it's already happened, it's
I
too
said
late.
that. I said, listen, if we had to do it, I said, if it was like we've got to do it for some reason, I said, I'd do that. We can have it done by 2, you can be back in work for 3. Because at the end of the day, there's no, you know, we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
We're not going to suddenly turn into some sort of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan film just because we've got married.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same, exactly the same.
Yeah. Me and Jane were out with them and Suzanne the other night, right, at dinner, and honestly, he is so grumpy. He was saying about for Christmas, right? He said, you've had a flaw. You've had a flaw. Now, what did that mean?
We had a new floor put in.
But how is that her flaw?
Because she wanted it.
But you walk on it too.
I paid for it. I don't understand what
But
you
don't
mean.
you understand that, like, you know, a romantic break or clothes or perfumes, you know, sort of things that are kind of indulgent for a lady, that's a gift, not a new floor.
That is like something you give to some little African fella on Comic Relief. In fact, I think I saw it once. He didn't have a floor.
Exactly.
They built him a floor. I remember watching it with you, and they gave him a new pair of shoes and the floor. He went, hold on, floor or shoes, not both. So you think charity is all right as long as people don't get above their station with charity?
I think it should be there as a little booster.
Right.
They've always got their hand out.
Right.
And it's been like that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, people knocking on the door, my mum going, don't look at the door, there's someone there. And we'd just pretend they weren't
Charity
there.
starts at home, not at your home.
No, but because it's all the time. I mean, my mum didn't like answering the door anyway, even if it was the pools man, she'd sort of say, don't move, and he might not see that we're here.
So you just froze where a man was at the door.
Well, you just, because the front room was near the door, so people
Right.
could see in.
Right.
So you just sort of stayed there and pretend that either you
Well, so
can't hear
like
him.
some sort of predator. Like, they can't see if you don't move.
Well, even if he was peering in through the window and he could see you in there not moving.
So he looked through, and there was 3 people just frozen, right, like statues, right, just their eyes looking at him,
Yeah.
and him confused.
Well,
not-
they're clearly dead, I'll move on. There's obviously been a gas leak.
And did you say sitting or stand up, or did you sort of like throw yourself
No,
to
we
the floor?
just sat on the, you know, where you were, and you just stayed still.
But did he ever look in and see?
I don't know, because you didn't turn round, did you?
So you would pretend you couldn't hear the door?
It seemed to be the 80s, had a lot of it, because it was
Yeah.
all the Avon thing, wasn't it? It was perfume,
Yeah.
Tupperware.
What?
Tupperware.
Tupperware.
Yeah, the plastic boxes.
It's dishes for fat people. Here we go. Oh, these are big. Good they are. They're for fat fuckers like you to eat out of.
Just a lot of charity stuff. Just a lot. It seemed to be the time, the 80s, that they suddenly found out they can sort of scav money off people.
Okay, right. Let's do the scenario. I'm at the door. I can see you in there. You might as well come open the door. Carl, why are you staying so still? Are you trying to avoid me?
It's working.
Carl, your eyes are moving. Can you come to the door, please?
I suppose in the end you've got to move on.
Carl, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here until you have to move. Carl. Okay, and I'll move on then. Right.
It works.
Yeah.
Works
okay.
perfectly.
Because
Brilliant.
once they've got you, that's the whole thing with charity. Once they've stopped you in the street, if you've stopped, that's it.
Keeps on going.
I mean, the good thing now is you've got an iPod. So you can just either pretend you're on the phone or listen to music.
Or just stay very still. Just freeze when someone says, "Can I trouble you?" Oh, he's totally frozen.
That would be amazing, because they're normally in one spot, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's just
So
they're
as soon
carrying
as
on
they
selling,
stop
and,
you,
and
so
you've got
you
to
just
stay there
freeze
for the
it.
rest of it outside Waitrose for 7 hours.
Yeah, it goes dark. Well, I've finished my shift, I'm off. And then you just see, your eyes just see them walk away like that, and they all meet in their little tunics. And then you start walking, they look back, and you freeze. And then they walk on. And then you can go home 7 hours late.
Ever since I was young, I've always liked going in charity shops, particularly because, you find sort of interesting old records in there. Never sort of gone in there to buy clothes and stuff, but, books, whatever. And, I was in a charity shop, and I've patronised them for years, and I noticed out through the window there was like a paparazzi guy, and he was taking pictures of me through the window. That was a bit weird, and obviously the old ladies in there didn't have any idea who I was, so they just thought that was a bit strange. And then it was in one of the magazines, like the kind of celebrity magazines. It was, oh, here's Steve Merchant. Despite all the money he must have made from his various projects, he's still going in charity shops. And you just think, but sorry, how is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I give a lot of stuff to charity. A lot. Most of the time, just because it's nearer than the wheelie bin is. It's just a way of getting rid of garbage most of the time with me. Stick it all in a bin bag, good stuff on the top, the stuff that you're embarrassed about, stick it in the bottom of the bag.
What are you embarrassed about?
Just old shoes, trainers.
Some of the books you've written.
Socks, underpants.
Underpants! You do not give underpants to charity.
Washed.
But who's gonna wash? I know, as opposed to just like peeling them off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you've got a problem with underpants, but shoes. You see, I'd never buy shoes.
Underpants from a charity shop, though? I mean, I don't care how low you are on the socio-economic level.
I know.
You can get about 14 pairs for £1 in some places.
I know. I don't know who's buying underpants. I don't know who's buying your underpants. I definitely don't know.
I mean, if they were signed.
Yeah.
That is something I like doing, though. When I've given to charity, I like going past the shop and seeing if it made it in the window.
Any success?
Yeah, recently, the one not far from here had me egg cups in the window. So it's like, oh, look, there's...
What, you've got a new set of egg cups, so you've got rid of your old ones?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got any egg cups.
Haven't you?
There's nothing wrong. Honestly, it's hardly... I mean, it's made the window space. That's how good it was. It had hardly been used, that egg cup. Because it was a doubler. And I think they were quite small for the egg size that I get. I think they were made more for the small egg. And I have the large egg.
Right.
So it was never really
Just
used.
like your underpants.
Letter to Hermione. David Bowie off Space Oddity album. XFM 104.9. See, I don't know where... I thought you'd sort of learnt a little bit, Carl, what is an interesting fact and what might just be a mentalist online. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what point we're making here? Why the truth is so much more even a little bit... even something that's just, mild, but is definitely the truth, is so much more interesting than just wish fulfillment of truth. To me, if it starts with, there was this ghost, right, it's not interesting. You could say anything. There was this ghost that could turn custard into wine. It doesn't matter. There was this ghost that had 9 heads. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There was this
Carl's looking at you going, there's a ghost that can turn custard into wine?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you say after that. There's a ghost that can swallow alligators whole. The premise means it's not true to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like people say, you know what, God, right, he's incredible, I'll stop you there. The fact that he can make the earth in 7 days, well, you've lost me already. Do you know what I mean? Whereas someone says something like, a cockroach can live 5 days without a head, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Right.
Do you think when you die, they say, you're a ghost, this is going to amaze you, you can go and you can spook people out?
Yeah.
Do you like custard?
Yeah.
Come over here.
No, well if you don't, you don't. Do you like wine? Of course I do. Oh, you are going to love it.
You're going to love me.
You're going to love it.
I've lost all my loved ones.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean? It's what your sort of beliefs are based on. Mine are sort of on, I suppose, logic and science, and so I'm amazed by the world and.
So the Iceman, why does that amaze you? What's like, ooh.
Well, they found some part of our preserved past. It's interesting. Again, I'm amazed by anthropology and evolution.
Yeah. It's just that lying on its own like that, you know, they found an Iceman is great, but then it went on, and it's going on about, you know, they've had to get different people involved to find out how old it was. Because first of all, the story started off, right, an old fellow on holiday somewhere, where did they find it, in Sweden or something? And he was walking in the hills, and...
He was walking...
In the hills.
In heels? Was he a transvestite?
In the mountains.
Oh, right.
In the hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's walking about, and he sees this body in the snow, and he thinks, oh. So he calls the police up, and they come and have a look, and he goes, oh yeah, it's probably a murder. So then they dig it up and find out he's got hold of a spear in his hand.
Right, and he's dressed like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. Right.
And they realise it's probably not a recent murder.
Right.
His knuckles are dragging on the floor. He's a Neanderthal man. They think, hang on, Karl Pilkington.
But when they found out, hang on, it's an old thing.
It's an old thing!
Can it? If it was a murder recent, then you'd go, hang on, how did this happen? Who does he belong to?
Yeah.
But the chances are whoever murdered him is also dead.
5,000 years ago, probably, yeah.
So leave it. Just bury it.
I don't think it's a murder investigation.
No, but they are.
It's not Quincy going, this was before my time.
It's not a murder investigation.
Yeah, just one thing bothers me, sir. Just one final thing. My wife loves you, but this guy.
That's how they were
Why
treating
would
it.
he have a spear and a leopard skin? I just can't. I can't get over this.
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
What are you saying? Right, shut up everybody. What are you saying? You've got one chance now. You've got to ask me a question, and I will answer it the best way. But what are you saying? What is your question?
Right, he probably spent a load of money.
That's not a question. That's not a question.
But let me tell you what I'm saying, right? They're probably spending a load of money finding out stuff about this fella who died. And even if he wasn't murdered, he'd be dead by now anyway. So get over it, right? 3,000 years ago, he died, right? So then they start messing about with it, saying, well, how did he die? Well, it doesn't matter. It was ages ago. Then, they start digging his belly open, seeing, last meal that he ate.
Yeah.
Oh, he ate seeds and leaves. Well, no surprise, really. There's now else around. Again, spending more money. Someone's been paid money to sort that out. Then they bury him, and then said, hang on a minute, are you sure that he died by, like, a spear? Let's dig him up again. So they dig him up again, and find some splinter or something.
I don't believe they buried him.
They did. Well, in some sort of fancy coffin so everyone can see him. But for me, that is more wasteful than sorting out something that's, you know, like, someone who's ill. Sort something out, you know, something...
Sorry, it's not either or. They didn't put a doctor out of surgery.
Exactly. It's not an old man in a bed in a corridor somewhere.
Yeah, Ted, what are you doing? I'm just giving this bloke a stat clear. No, look, we found an old fella in a skit. Okay, okay, you take over. It's not either or, Carl. What are you talking about? It's scientific research.
But don't you see why this is fascinating? It gives us an insight into how we lived 3,000, 5,000 years ago. That's an incredible historical document.
What if it was your equivalent? What if he was like the Carl of the time, and there's people, you know, ghosts now through there going, oh God, I don't believe it, they've dug up Carl. They think we're all like that. Oh no, oh no, they're going into his brain now. They're looking at how his brain works. We're gonna get such a bad rep. Oh
well,
dear.
Each to their own. If you like it, I just thought it was a bit of a
waste of money.
A little bit of a waste.
Yeah, okay.
But, there you go. Anyway, will we give out the answers to Rockbusters next?
If we must.
Yeah.
It sometimes stuns me. Sometimes I'm taken aback, do you know what I mean?
But what worries me is if one day aliens do visit,
I'd love
and
that.
they come down, but what worries me is they might bump into, what if they bump into you? What if they bump into you and they think that you represent mankind?
And they go up and they start another planet.
They say, we'll ask you 3 questions, and if you answer them correctly, we will not blow up your planet.
Yeah.
We'd be doomed.
It depends.
It depends what they ask you, don't they? What if they said, right, Carl, what's the weirdest thing ever found in China?
I say hairy Chinese kid.
And they go, right.
Okay, interesting.
2, alright?
What don't you see anymore?
What do you see an old burger doing?
You don't see an old fella eating a Twix.
Yeah. And they say, what if they asked you, what's across the road from you when you're washing up?
Well, there's 3 things. Do you just want one of them?
No, I want all 3.
You want all 3? There was a Chinese kid dancing about in his underpants.
Yeah.
There was a bouncer every night getting ready to go to work. And the 3rd one, the old woman reading a book, the same book.
And they go, right, your planet's saved. See,
back in the ship.
Yeah,
they are a superior race.
Well,
I just feel the listeners should be able to contribute.
They do.
Yeah.
They phone in and say, the show's rubbish, move on. Can we experiment on Carl? I'm a
Yes.
doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to tattoo on
Would he
Carl
like a
Peg.
tattoo? Yeah. Oh, dear.
Carl, have you got any tattoos? Have you ever thought about that? Any kind of piercings?
don't like the idea. Don't mess with your body and that.
Okay.
He doesn't like the human body, he's scared of it.
But I told you, didn't I, about me uncle
God.
Tattoo Stan. We've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah, tattoo stand, yeah.
He's got loads, and I
Yeah.
think now he sort of, looks in the mirror and think, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
But then again,
So do you.
I was
With your life, go on.
telling Ricky before about someone who had a tattoo. It's a bit horrible, really, isn't it?
I don't know, I can't remember.
The skin thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're not going to tell us it?
Again, I'm hoping it's not true because it's from Carl, but it's pretty disgusting. But yeah, unfortunately, because there's no paranormal or animals acting like humans involved, I think it might be true. It's a fellow who kept his dad's tattoo.
Yeah, he just sort of, when his dad passed away, he got the skin off and put it in a frame.
Who'd you ask to do that?
Oh, man alive.
Ashes to ashes, sorry, before we... Barrett, you don't...
Before we cremate, and I've got a Stanley knife.
Do you do any other services? Like what, my son? I'll just pop some of him in a jar for me. I'm sorry? How do you, I mean, that
I
is...
bought this clip frame from IKEA.
Yeah.
Just slip that between there.
$4.99.
Yeah.
That
I imagine your father is a man who's probably appalled by the idea of tattoos, earrings, things like that. I imagine he's quite an old school gent.
He's never sort of said anything, but,
If you came back with an earring, what would he have said when you were a youngster?
I never saw him that much as a kid, so I don't think he'd have noticed. My mum would have said, what have you done that for?
Yeah.
Our kid had a tattoo. And an earring.
Sorry, is this the one that borrowed a tank from the army to go and get a packet of fads?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We must tell that story again next week. For
Yeah.
those that are fairly new listeners, that's got to seem tantalising.
Yeah.
Your brother once drove a tank down to the local shops to buy some cigarettes. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary story.
But that's it. We don't
Who was that other auntie you told me about in the week? Not Auntie Nora, the one that farted for 5 minutes, but there's another auntie you talked about. How many aunties have you
I
got?
haven't really got another auntie. I've got me brother,
Yeah,
who I haven't seen in ages.
yeah.
My sister I hadn't seen for about 12 years, then I saw her again, and then she got fed up because I said...
Oh, you had a new kid and you went with all the same. I've seen one, I've seen them all.
Yeah,
Why is she saying that to your sister?
Your sister, you haven't seen her for how long?
I hadn't seen her for about 12 years, and then for some reason I met her in a car park in Wales.
Right.
And,
It's incredible, isn't it?
For some reason.
Yeah.
and, she got in the back of the car and she said, oh, I want to show you something, right? And, she got this picture out and said, look at that. And it was one of my new nieces and nephews. You
Was
can't
her-
tell,
her-
can
her
you, if it's a
daughter
boy
or
or
her
a girl.
son?
Yeah, or whatever. And, she said, look at that. And I said, oh. And I sort of said, well, there's no point showing it me. All babies look the same, don't
There's
they?
no point in showing it me. It just takes 2 seconds of your life to go, oh, lovely.
right.
That's all you have to do.
If it was a first,
Yeah.
I'd say, oh, I'd show a bit of interest even though...
Do you think the novelty wore off for her with the second kid, third kid?
Sixth kid. Yeah, I think even she should be bored of looking at pictures of babies.
Kind of a woman is she? And can I get her phone number?
Right, is that it then?
Play a tune. Have we got, is this it?
This is it.
Have we got to wrap it all up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
well, I
on.
forgot to bring in a song for the ladies this week, so I thought I'd play a song for people who enjoy the work of Deep Purple.
That run and run.
Here's Deep Purple, see you next week.
Bye.